Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Car Reviews podcast here with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Today, we have a couple of cars to bring you. The first is a 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster. So quite a car. You name the bell and or whistle, and it's got it. Please do take a look at our detailed listing for this one, lot 261, and you will not be disappointed in the list of features and options in this car. It really does have it all, and I ran out of time on the video to show you everything. The seller of the car, since seeing the video, reminded me that I forgot to show the adjustable height suspension, but assures me that it is functional. So that Mercedes, again, a 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster, and that's got a 5.5 liter V8 engine, good for 382 horsepower out of the factory, 391 pounds-feet of torque, and that's finished in a pearl beige metallic paint. It's a pretty color, understated as well, over a beige perforated leather interior. I could tell you 18 things about both of those items, but I'll wait till the video rolls. But it's the car's rolling on a set of 19-inch staggered AMG wheels. Take a look at the detailed listing again, lot 261. In addition, this episode features a 2000 Lingenfelter-Modified Chevrolet Corvette. So this one's lot 263. It's finished in dark forest green. I beg your pardon. It is finished in bowling green metallic. Bowling green stays with me because the name of the city where Corvettes are built, the GM plant, is in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So they had some fun with calling that paint color Bowling Green. And that's over a tan leather interior. The important part about this car is that it's modified by Lingenfelter. So it remains normally aspirated, but quite a surge in horsepower from the 345 factory rating. And it was that the modifications by Lingenfelter Performance Engineering were done when the car was brand new. So it's a low miler, under 92,000 kilometers. So that one's going to its new owner with under 92,000 kilometers on the 5.7 liter V8. It's twinned to a 4-speed automatic that was tuned by Lingenfelter to handle the extra power, and the exhaust is beefed up by Lingenfelter as well. There's some Lingenfelter badging and emblems on the car. So that one, again, is lot 263. Enough talking from me. Here come the 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster, lot 261, and the 2000 Chevrolet Corvette Lingenfelter Modified with a removable painted roof panel. Again, that one is lot 263. Here come the cars. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another fantastic car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Today, we have a 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster. Normally, I don't start the car for a few minutes, but with this one, I want to show you the top going up and down to erase any doubts you might have about it, and I prefer to do that while the engine's running. So here comes a startup. You might have noticed I was not feeling around the steering wheel or the steering column to start the car. This car has a push-button start, and unlike most push-button starts, the button's on the top of the shift knob. So that's where I was reaching. So I'm going to bring the top up, and we're going to bring it down and continue the video. So you know it's done its thing when you see the display in the dash change. While it's in operation, there's a little message saying retractable roof in operation with a little diagram of it. So now I'm going to pop her back down. And the display is back to normal on the dash. So with that, I'm going to shut the engine down. And we'll start talking about this 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG and Roadster. So this car is on our website as lot 261. You'll find it as number 261 on collectorcarcanada.ca. And it checks in with, I read the odometer today, 85576. So it's going to its new owner with under 86,000 kilometers. Canadian market car. The speedometer goes up to 260 kilometers an hour. So we see the kilometers an hour as the primary measure on the speedometer. And not just one tell that it's a Canadian car. Canadian market car, that is. Built in Stuttgart, Germany, of course. So we've got a beige metallic over a creamy beige leather interior. We've got the exact, not only names of the colors from Mercedes-Benz, but we've even got the color codes on the detailed listing. And now I think what I'll do is I'll do a dedicated startup. We can listen to the engine idle and the exhaust pipes, and we'll start our little tour. So here we go with the startup. Again, the key I have is right here. I'm going to place it on the dash. You can see my hand goes above the shifter to start it. Okay, no trouble at all with the start. I'll just pop the hood here, and then I'll go grab the camera, and we'll get a good look at the engine and listen to it idle and continue our little tour. All right, so you can notice the hood's open a crack for me releasing it in the cabin. Another release right here in the center of the hood. Pretty simple one. Sometimes that can be a challenge with one hand on the camera, but no trouble at all. So, including it being very powerful, the engine is really clean. So I'll zoom in on the belts that are running, and we can get a good listen to those. Pan out on that clean engine cover, and we can take a closer look at some of the components. There are two batteries in this car. This is called the starter battery, as you see on that label there. And this one is a Mercedes-Benz branded battery. The battery that is in the trunk, which controls or sort of powers everything else other than starting, is in the trunk. And we noted how that was replaced in May of 2025. It comes with a transferable 3-year warranty. So take a look at the detailed listing for lot 261. All the details on that new battery. I'll call it the accessory battery, but it's the one that's in the trunk. It's a nice Mercedes-Benz emblem on the engine beauty cover, as well as the big V8 embossing. So 5.5 liter V8. You might expect the 5.5 liter being that it's an SL550. The two first digits in the number in the model name are the same as the the shock tower is really clean, really clean. 2010, and not a hint of any imperfection on those shock towers. And I'll take a look at the hood insulation as well. Also nice and clean. And here we have the option codes for the car, as well as some other factory data on this label. So I'll move away and put that hood down. I'll also note while I'm here and it catches my eye that the front end of the car is covered in a PPF. yeah, you can see that line there. My side of the line, the camera side of the line, is a film to protect the paint. Moving our way back to the exhaust pipes. Dual exhaust, rounded rectangular exits on either side. So everything nice and clean. I'm gonna cut that engine. Now you'll see up close that I use the button on the shifter to kill the engine. How do you like that? So we'll start a little tour in depth of the car now on the exterior, starting with the exterior. Again, a 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster. And so this is a W230 model, W230 body out of Mercedes-Benz, and it was reskinned right around the time this car was built. The R230, I might have said W230, I meant R230, R for Roadster. The R230 began with the 2003 model year, but this one is after the facelift it was given, sort of midstream in the R230. Take a close look at the front tire on the driver's side. Continental Extreme Contact. I can see with my naked eye 255/35 ZR19 with a Y speed rating, and I also see a 2022 date code. Although that's 3 years past, very little mileage on the tires since they were installed. I would estimate, based on discussions with the owner, under 5,000 kilometers. So not brand new tires, but not much use at all. Continuing on, there's a V8 badge here. The early R230s did not have the V8 badge. And there's a little bit of venting here as well that reminds me, I mean, it's a totally different car, but it does remind me back of the Mercedes-Benz McLaren SLR. If you're not familiar with that car, Dr. Google can help you out with that. This car is super fast with 382 horsepower, but the SLR is a different animal altogether. Lots going on this side mirror, color-coded side mirrors on either side. This is a lens for a light, so the when the turn signals are activated, the turn signals appear through the mirror as well, giving a side vehicles to the side of the car can see those, and heated power as you'd expect for the 2010 Mercedes-Benz. But looking around it, I don't see too many flaws. I don't see any flaws on the exterior. I'm going to keep my eyes open for them. But to the seller's credit, one thing they mentioned to us is that there was a little bit of paint done, and the details are on our detailed listing. However, off the top of my head, I cannot remember if it was the driver's side rear quarter panel or the passenger side. And when I look to the car up close, the seller's not around right now, but when I look up at the car up close, I can't tell which side it was done on. But as I say, there are some details about that. And I say to the seller's credit because, as you'd expect, we do have a Carfax for this vehicle on the detailed listing for lot 261. This shopping cart mishap, the shopping cart scratches, do not appear, the repair does not appear on the Carfax, but we knew about it, so we disclosed it. So the AMG 19-inch wheel here on the rear, you can see the AMG branding, as well as the Mercedes-Benz center caps on the matching set of wheels, staggered wheels. So that's why I'm gonna mention the rear tire size, which is 285/30 ZR19 here on the rear. Y speed rating. And I also see a 2022 date code for the rear tire. So we get a good look at the sort of rear 1/4 view here. Going in up close, you can see this antenna. And when you can see that when the top is down, it stows in neatly here. This here is a roll bar with a windscreen included, So that's a power roll bar. There's a control for it inside the car. And even when it's in the down position, Mercedes-Benz promises you're safe when the car senses a rollover. If that roll bar is not up and in place, it automatically activates to protect the occupants of the car during a rollover. So a good look at the rear. One thing that stands out to me is that AMG emblem. So this has this AMG cosmetic package on the SL550. The twin exits, as I mentioned, when we listened up to the listened closely to that idle from the exhaust, and that screen sort of in between the two sort of is a bit of a hint that we're dealing with a performance car here. And you can also see the reverse sensors in place. And I always like this view of a convertible with the top down. You can see right into those, right into the cabin. Two-place convertible, as with all SLs. SL is a German acronym, but loosely translated, it means sport light. So the words are similar in German, but of course they're a little different. Working our way across, here's a good look at the AMG branded wheel here on the passenger's rear. I'll also note now that the brakes, of course it's an 4-wheel ABS system. All 4 rotors are cross-drilled, so not just the fronts, they're cross-drilled at all 4 corners for the brakes. So Continental Extreme Contact, matching the rear tire on the driver's side. I'll just double check the date code, and I do see a 2022 date on that one as well. Here's that same venting over here. I passed by the fuel door. I'll open that up to have a look at that. Nice and clean in there as well. You can see the labels that come along with it. And moving our way, a matching mirror on this side with that turn signal functionality. The venting that I say reminds me a bit of a Mercedes-Benz McLaren SLR. And the front wheel on the passenger side at 255 35 ZR19. Y-rated Continental Extreme Contact. And just seeking out for the date code, and there it is, also 2022. So we're getting a little bit of sun. Boy, that car looks great in the sun. One other little detail I like seeing on Mercedes is the authentic Mercedes-Benz windshield. Oh, and this is kind of fun too. Even the wiper blades have the Mercedes-Benz emblem on them. So no one cut any corners with service if we're finding the Mercedes-Benz emblem on the wipers as well. Headlight washer system in place. Here's where it pops up and sprays the light. Down here we got a set of fog lights. Dual sort of grills for air intake for that engine, up above and down below. And in the center, we've got the 2 emblems, one through the grille without the wording, and one on the hood with the wording. That's a pretty close match to the center caps. A little bit of sporty looking vent work on the hood itself as well. So there's a good look at the exterior of lot 261 on collectorcarcanada.ca, 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster. Let's move on into the inside of the car, into the cabin, and we'll get a good look. Right now, the winter mats are in place, and winter's a bit of a misnomer, as you'd expect. This car's not been driven in the winter, but all that to say that these are a rubber set of Mercedes-Benz mats. We're out in the country here, and I suspect the owner prefers those because not at this fine, on this fine driveway in a beautiful neighborhood, but as I say, we're kind of in a country neighborhood, and it might get a little dusty on the soles of people's shoes, and that's probably why those rubber mats are in place. So there's a look at some functionality on the driver door. Power seat, 3 memory positions. We got the heat for the seat, and we have the cooling function for the seat. And on the right side, you can see a diagram of the seat with an arrow. That is to denote the fan installed on the headrest. So if you're running the air conditioning, you can even get cool air blowing on the back of your head and neck. I always think it's opulence when someone's driving around with the convertible with the top down and running the air conditioning. And this, I guess, is opulence and decadence. Not just the AC running, but even some air being blown onto the back of your neck to keep cool. Power windows for both sides. There's a little storage compartment here inside of the door card. Harman Kardon sound. You can see the Harman Kardon emblem right there on that big speaker. And I'll show it to you on this side, as well as the memory function and the AC in the headrests on the driver or the passenger side, and same with the storage compartment in the passenger door. So, getting a good look at the instrumentation beyond the 3-spoke with airbag steering wheel, burl walnut wood throughout the interior of the car. So on the door card, on the steering wheel, other than where you grip it, where it's leather, and then in the center console as well. So getting a good look at that odometer, it's going to its new owner with under 86,000 kilometers. Speedometer maxes out at 260 kilometers an hour. Tachometer, in case, don't be fooled by the trip odometer there. Oh, it just went out. But it was at 9,447 with a decimal, and the needle was blocking the decimal. So under 86,000 kilometers. Don't be fooled by what was on the trip odometer. So on either side of those two sort of primary gauges, coolant temperature on the left, gas gauge on the right, a multi-function head unit with telephone function. We'll fire that up to get a look at the graphics. You can see we got the Mercedes emblem when we fire it up. And I'll actually start the car here. Command is the navigation system in place on this car. There's a neat look at the modern retro radio display. And then there's various settings as you might expect. That's for the navigation, a mute button, and these are telephone number buttons, and they also double as presets for the radio. So I'll turn off the car, we don't need it running. Power lock buttons surrounding a 4-way flasher switch, a digital clock up top, which is set by the same clock as the one that's in the head unit. So the clock in the head unit and the clock up here on the dash are always in agreement. They're merely displays of a clock that's located elsewhere. Cruise control, I'm getting carried away with all these accessories, but more on the meat and potatoes side. You can see the plus and minus icons on either side of the D for drive. So this car's got a sport shift. We've got details about it on the detailed listing for lot 261 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So the transmission can be shifted in the forward gears, a 7-speed automatic, side to side here, or there are shift paddles in place. To upshift, it's here on the right side of the steering wheel, to downshift on the left side. And steering wheel buttons on the left, we've got some functionality to control the various settings of the trip computer, and on the right, volume and phone controls for the head unit. And you can see the SRS airbag logo there on the glove box. So front airbags, and as you'd expect, there's some side airbags on either side as well. I'm gonna pop open the glove box, and it looks pretty clean. There's a good look at the clean glove box. And while I'm thinking of it, I do know that the manuals were seated behind the passenger seat. So there's a good look at the Mercedes attaché in which they came, and all the original books are here. It's just a little difficult for me to manipulate them with the one hand on the camera, but they're in place. Nice leather attaché to go with them. The seats you can see they're perforated leather to keep cool, and I think I already mentioned how they're heated and cooled. And then here are the vents to blow the fan air onto the interior. the occupants of the car. So here's a good look again now. So there's the odometer at 85,576. And then over here on the right, now you can see the decimal point there. I'm familiar enough with these cars to know that that's a trip odometer. So it hasn't been reset in quite a long time. So in addition to the seat controls here, we can go back and forth with this control as well. Makes for a little easier access to behind the seats. There's a bit of storage there, another one on the other side. And these are, I don't know if I remember how to open them, but they flip down so that you can hook your, oh, here we go. You can hook your items, well, you can wrap them around this this strap, and then the strap connects in here, kind of like seatbelt style, so that if you're using this parcel shelf in the rear, the items aren't going to bounce around on you. And this, it's a one touch to operate the seat to go back. Pretty nice Mercedes-Benz emblem on the door sill. I'm not going to call that chrome. I think it's plastic, but it's got a nice chrome look to it. Here's some more seat control. We've got lumbar here as well as a pulsing action. So it's kind of like a massaging action. I think the manufacturers want to stay away from the word massage, and it's by the book, it's intended to keep a driver alert. And there's even a little bit of smart stowage space here in each seat. A few items on the controls here in the center by the shifter. This is to turn off the reverse sensors. These are settings for the suspension. S for sport, C for comfort, M I don't recall. And then this on the left here, that's a control to set the ride height. So I might show you that in our closing thoughts when I'm sitting back in the driver's seat. You can see how the car can elevate. ABC Sport, it's a sport suspension. And this is the control to operate the power top. And of course there's a console here. Pretty neat and tidy with a couple of connections for electronics. So that's a good look at the interior of the 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550. I suppose I can show you the trunk, but there's not much to see in there, only because the top is currently down and it occupies a lot of the trunk when the top is down. Okay, so there's a good look at the 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster. One last function I wanted to show you. I mentioned about the power retractable roll bar. I can show you that in action here. So I guess it was my temptation to show you a video of the car with it down. One last thing to sort of confuse the picture. But here it is on its way up. The button, the control for it is just below the button for the retractable top itself. So you can see there's a windscreen in touch, a wind deflector in place. It's just attached by Velcro, but it's also included with the car. And I'll pop it back down. There we go. So I wanted to have the engine running. As I did that, I'm going to cut the engine, again with the button on the gear selector. So in closing, 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster, under 86,000 kilometers. Couple of things that have slipped my mind while we're talking about the video. There's just so much to say about this car in how well equipped it is. But it comes with a clean Carfax. I did mention that earlier. And the other great item for an Ontario buyer is it comes Ontario safetied. So one less hurdle to get through to register it in your name if you're in Ontario. Under 86,000 kilometers, 382 horsepower from the factory, 391 pound-feet of torque. from the 5.5 liter V8 engine, 7-speed automatic, getting the power to the rear wheels. All the wheels are by AMG and AMG branded, 19 inches all the way around, but staggered width, so a little wider in the rear, and they come with the very low mile Continental Extreme Contact Y-rated tires. I could go on and on about this beauty. 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster, available as lot 261 on collectorcarcanada.ca. Thank you for watching, and on to the next car. Hi everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast with collectorcarcanada.ca. Today we have a 2000 Chevrolet Corvette, and not just any 2000 Chevrolet Corvette. This one has been modified by Lingenfelter Corporation, GM approved mods house. So this car's mechanicals have been modified. We'll get into it in the body of the video, but modifications have been done under the hood, though no supercharger or turbocharger. Lots more power, and I'll get into that. The transmission's been specially tuned to handle the extra power of the engine and the exhaust, as well as a Lingenfelter item. So you can hear it on our driving videos. We have a few driving videos for the listing. It's lot number 263 on collectorcarcanada.ca. And so again, a 2000 Chevrolet Corvette. I'd say coupe, but as you see, Targa top. The Targa top is currently stowed in the rear compartment. We'll get a look at that. I thought it'd be fun to have all of the doors, engine cover or hood, and rear hatch open for the opening of the video. You can see there's a post propping up the hood, and the owner tells us that the prop rods have just, or I guess I should say hood shocks have just gone on them, the hood struts. So he'll replace those certainly before the car moves along to its next owner. Another item that car's going to have repaired before it goes to its next owner is the tire pressure monitoring system is throwing off a warning. He figures there's a sensor needed in one of the wheels, but he'll make sure that that warning message is gone before the car goes to its new owner. So again, lot 263 on collectorcarcanada.ca. That'll do for the intro. Let's switch angles and get a sound of that engine. I suppose I'd better start her up before we do that. So fire's right up. The car is sitting at, with the door open, I'm not going to get the odometer reading. I know what it is very close, but I want to give you the precise reading. So I'll wait until we're walking around the car to get that for you. And that'll do for the intro, as I say. I'll change angles. We'll have a close look and listen to the engine as well as the exhaust, and then start the walk around. So right away from these valve covers, you know you're not dealing with a Corvette the way it left the assembly plant in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Incidentally, Bowling Green, I have visited the facility, and the reason I've done that is to see the museum. There's a fantastic Corvette museum in Bowling Green, adjacent the plant. And one thing I noticed while I was there was that it's possible to factory order a Corvette and pick it up right from the plant. They had a lineup of people, a schedule of on a whiteboard that day, and various people came and picked up their brand new Corvettes. So something to look at if this 2000 Lingenfelter is not for you. Anyway, as I say, that prop rod, or what we have propping up the hood right now, is a bit of an eyesore, but it'll be resolved before the car gets to its new owner. It's just this and these nasty hood struts that are worn and need to be replaced. It'll be done before the car goes. So I'll get in close to this belt and we can have a good listen to idle. quite composed at idle. We'll hear a bit of a snarl here at idle from the exhaust, but generally well behaved. When you open up that throttle though, you can hear it. So that idle exhaust, I suppose it really does give you a sense of what's supporting it. But it is pretty well behaved at idle without giving it a lot of juice. Closing things up here in the hopes we can get that odometer reading without closing the hood. Climbing in here. We'll get that service service tire monitoring system, but I think if I get on here, and there's our odometer at 91,344 kilometers. So this car is going to its new owner at under 92,000 kilometers. I just see the English and metric button over here on the trip computer, onboard computer, and I'll hit that so we can have a look at the mileage in miles. So under 57,000 miles with these electronic or digital odometers. I like to show both sides so that no one confuses the 91,000 as being miles. So back over to kilometers, under 92,000. You might note the kilometers per hour light up above in the speedometer changes when I go over to miles as well. You can see there, it just switches over to miles per hour. And the numbers stay in place, but the needle adjusts as you'd expect. So, I don't think we need that engine running anymore. Kill the engine, get the key out of there, and we'll button it up such as it is. We have photos of the car without the with the targa top in place. But for this video, we're going to leave the targa top off. And we'll close it up. And we've got a sealed hood. All right. So here's a good look at a 3/4 view of this green over tan 2000 Corvette. Again, as you might recall, we have another C5 Corvette, of course C5 for the 5th generation of Corvette. We have another C5 on the website right now as we're recording this. Who knows what might happen between now and the time this car gets to the site, but it is a non-competing car certainly, so I think I'll mention it in this video. It's a 2003 Chevrolet Corvette convertible. It's got a manual transmission, and it's a 50th anniversary model. So some pretty big distinguishing differences. It being a convertible, this one being the Targa. The 50th anniversary 2003 car is a manual 6-speed, and this, as I've already said, is an automatic. So non-competing cars. If it's a convertible with a stick you're after, maybe this isn't your car, but if you like the automatic with the Lingenfelter, maybe this one is. So working our way around the car, again, the C5, the last Corvette, the most recent Corvette, I'll say never, but the most recent Corvette with the pop-up headlights. We've got a little video though of that being demonstrated on the detailed listing. And I saw a set of Continental Extreme Contact tires here. These are what I call double staggered. They're wider in the rear. They're also a bigger diameter in the rear. So up front here, these Continentals, what do we got? We got 245 40 ZR17 with the W speed rating. And I see a date code on these of 2018. I'm thinking low mileage though. The tread looks quite good. And then just a neat kind of appointment here. We've got a vent here for some cooling. I suppose that'd be for brakes to cool off. Got color-coded mirrors, a pair, one on each side. There is a little scuff on this driver's mirror here. I bet that'd buff out pretty easily. Just rubbing it with my thumb gets some of it off. Closer look at that rim reveals no curb rash on the driver's front. I'll also note that the caliper has the Corvette script on it. Working our way back, there's a good look at that cabin with the Targa roof removed. Back here on the driver's rear, another Continental Extreme Contact. It's a matching set of tires in terms of brand and model. As I say, they're different size here in the rear. And for size here in the rear, I see 275/40 ZR18. Y speed rating here on the rear. And I did see a date code. Here it is here, 2017. With, yeah, there's a bit of tread left there before the wear bar, certainly. So, there's the fuel door over here behind the driver's door. We do have a photo of it open and what's underneath on the detailed listing. Working our way to the rear. So the C5 shows the traditional round-ish Corvette taillights. They remained for the C6, and then on the C7, GM went away from the roundies. So down here, we've got some centrally mounted exhaust pipes. So dual exhaust, each muffler with 2 exits. Some venting here for some airflow on either side. But in the center of this, in between the 2 sets of pipes, this gives a little hint to people who get close of what lingers underneath with that Lingenfelter emblem. Lingenfelter Performance Engineering. So we did discuss the power rating of the car with the owner. He confessed that he doesn't know what it is exactly. We researched it a little bit. He has told us though, no turbocharging or supercharging in this car. Two items that Lingenfelter did offer at the time. But coming out of the factory in Bowling Green, this car would have had right in the neighborhood of 350 horsepower. We'll get the precise number on the detailed listing again for lot 263. But consistent with what we researched in advance of coming, the owner estimates 500 horsepower for this Lingenfelter Corvette. Here's a good look at the passenger's rear wheel and tire. Another good looking wheel. I will note that the calipers in the rear do not have the Corvette script, only for the front brakes. But nice clean wheel, no curb rash on this one. Another in the matching set of Continental Extreme Contact. And working our way forward with a really good looking green finish. We're into the shade now. It's kind of twilight time, getting towards the end of the day. And it's dark. Darker. The paint looks quite dark. But we do have some photos of it on the detailed listing and some videos of it in direct sunlight from about an hour and a half ago. So you can see what the green looks like, quite sharp in the light as well. And one last look at another wheel. This one does have a little hint of curb rash here. I'll get the camera in to see that. And Continental Extreme Contact rather, up here in the passenger's front. So a smart looking car. When I look closely at the front bumper cover, there are some marks on it. I'm thinking they're more from bugs, however. I don't see any real chips. I do see a little rub here, and I can feel it with my thumb. So it could be better presented if we're buffed, but as I do feel a little bit of texture there as I rub my hand over it. So that texture is probably there to stay unless you got a really fine grit sandpaper. But talk to the experts at a body shop. Don't listen to me on that. So here's one last look at the 3/4 view from the driver's corner of the 2000 Corvette Coupe with the Lingenfelter Performance package. Now let's move to the interior. So we've got a smart tan interior in the car. There are a few particular items I notice. I noticed the Bose emblem on that door speaker. So there's a theft lock Delco Electronics Bose sound system in place, the factory item. And we've got a seat memory here for the driver, and power mirrors, windows, locks, as you'd expect. You can see the power seat controls here too. I did note that the passenger side also comes equipped with power seats. So power for both occupants' seats. And a look at the pedal. I think I think that might be a Lingenfelter item. At first I thought there might be a rubber piece missing off the top of that brake pedal, but as I look more closely at it now, it's looking like it's an aluminum item that was added after the fact. You can see that there are a set of Lingenfelter mats as well. We did pull those up and took a couple of pictures of the clean carpet that's underneath the mats. And I will say that the driver's seat in this car's under 92,000 kilometers of service is showing a bit of wear, a little bit of wrinkling increasing, I suppose, on the seat bottom. The seat back has a little bit. It's more noticeable on the seat bottom. Corvette embroidered into the seat back on either side. And we'll move in, take a closer look at the instrumentation. I suppose I showed it to you when we started up, but that security button, or light rather, is flashing. That's a factory alarm system. And interestingly, all of the finish on these gauges looks almost new, very little wear, except for this switch, this light switch. And that comes with a bit of a story that the bit of background, I guess is a better word for it, that the owner shared it with us. He needed to replace that switch and could not find it anywhere. His trusted shop couldn't find it anywhere. A GM dealer couldn't find it anywhere. So he had to resort to the aftermarket and buying a used item. And that's why it's quite apparent that it's a replacement item, because it shows a lot more wear than any of the other print on the various controls, which are otherwise near mint looking. And here's a good look at the climate control system, dual zone, so driver and passenger can each set their temperature separately. And the 4-speed automatic shifter, again, that transmission has been tuned to handle all the extra power that the Lingenfelter performance package offers. Again, we believe it to be in the neighborhood of 500 horsepower. Little cup holder here, and a nice clean ashtray as well. And the lighters there, of course, for a 12-volt outlet for modern times. And you can see here that there's active handling button here, so that makes for an adjustable suspension for the spirited drives. You can turn that on. And a little more basic controls, but the same controls for the passenger's side only on the passenger door. And a good look at the Lingenfelter mat over here on the passenger side. You can see that there's a hook and eye system. So you can see these mats were made for this C5. The hook is installed into the floor, and then the eyes are in the mats to prevent them from moving around. Here's a good look at the passenger's seat bottom. A little bit of creasing here, but better. It looks better than the driver's side. And there's that Corvette embroidery on the passenger seat. It's funny, sitting here on the edge of the driver's seat, I almost feel like I'm in a convertible, but I have to remind myself that, yeah, we're in a Targa top. So I'll just release the rear compartment, and we'll have a closer look in that compartment, which is mostly occupied right now by the Targa top. Oh, I didn't mention there's a head-up display in this car. We attempted a photo of the display while we were doing photos of the interior. I'm not sure how that's going to come out, but yes, equipped with a head-up display, and we can confirm that it is functional. So here's a good look at the rear compartment. So when the Targa top is stowed in place, you probably don't want to keep too much back here, because the green finish, the paint, is exposed when it's tucked in the way it's supposed to. You can see I'm not able to lift it. It's secured into place. It's not going to bounce around. But if your other items do, I guess you're at risk of them scratching the targa top. So you want to be careful when that top is in place. But if you want the full utility of which is quite a large rear compartment, you just have that targa top in place on the roof. 2 big speakers here, one on either side for the Delco Bose system. And a good look at the cabin from the rear here. A sharp number, no doubt. So one last walk around, and maybe then we'll move to some closing thoughts about this 2000 Corvette Targa with Lingenfelter performance package. I should add that this is a repeat seller with us. We were really happy to sell a 1987 Fox body Mustang GT hatchback for him, going back a couple of years. But it's always great when we get asked back. So this fella has a eclectic taste just like I do, at both the GM and the Ford sort of top sports car, if you exclude the Ford GT, I suppose. So on to some closing thoughts. So I very deliberately chose to show you the profile of the car again. I think it looks really sharp with the Targa roof stowed in the storage compartment. So again, that's a good look at the 2000 Chevrolet Corvette Targa with the automatic and the Lingenfelter performance package. So that's GM factory approved modifications to engine to yield about 500 horsepower. The transmission is tuned to handle the extra power and send it to the rear wheels only. And the exhaust as well is a Lingenfelter item. So again, under 92,000 kilometers on this 2000 Chevrolet Corvette Targa with Lingenfelter package, green on tan, and as you saw in our walk around, not too many flaws on the exterior or interior of this car. A pretty sharp car. We'll add that for Ontario buyers, the owner is going to have it delivered with an Ontario Safety Standard certificate. As I mentioned in the body of the video, he's going to have a shop look at it in the upcoming days to resolve the tire pressure monitoring system fault, as well as replace those hood struts that forced us to use a post to prop up the hood for the video. So that'll about do it. Again, a 2000 Chevrolet Corvette Targa roof with Lingenfelter performance package. It's going to be lot 263 on Collector Car Canada. Thank you for watching, and on to the next car.